Those of you who have been commenting over and over again, asking me to make Ninja Creamy recipes without protein powder, I see you, I hear you, and I've listened. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Amanda, aka Fit Food AE, and today we're going to be making 5 high-protein, low-calorie pints of ice cream with Ninja Creamy. None of them contain protein powder. They're all under 300 calories and all have at least 30 grams of protein. So let's get started, shall we? The first flavor we've got is lemon cheesecake. So this is my absolute favorite flavor out of the 5. It absolutely wowed me. And I know some of you guys are cottage cheese haters, and guys, you can't taste the cottage cheese. I know it looks weird with that like chunky texture, but trust me, it gets blended in the creamy. You don't even have to pre-blend it. The challenge of making high protein ice cream in the creamy without protein powder is making it sweet enough, because obviously the protein powder adds sweetness. So you want to make sure to add monk fruit to all of these recipes. For this one, I used 20 grams. Oh, and by the way, guys, I didn't process the creamies in the orders that I made them. So if you see them in different orders, mind your business. So in my last video, I shared 15 of my best Ninja Creamy tips. I'd highly recommend checking that out if you're new to owning the Ninja Creamy. A lot of the things I do in this video are following those tips. So obviously freezing the pints for 24 hours, and then here scraping down the edges after that first spin. So sometimes I add a tablespoon or 2 of unsweetened almond milk after the first spin. But with the texture of this creamy, you actually don't necessarily need to add the almond milk. I'd recommend maybe adding a little bit or not adding it at all, because then otherwise you don't want the texture to be like runny. So this first creamy recipe is the only one in this video where I add mix-ins. So you'll see for the mix-in, I dug a hole in the middle and then I put some shortbread in there. I guess the shortbread is optional, but honestly, guys, it's so good. So I put most of it in the middle and then I added like a little bit on top. But honestly, the texture even tastes amazing, like on its own. Look at that amazing texture. It just turned out just like this. Looks like a Wendy's Frosty. So good. It tastes really good. It tastes creamy with like a light hint of lemon. Then I put a little bit of shortbread on top as well. And digging a hole in the middle to put the shortbread in really helps, because then it distributes throughout. Whereas if you just put it on the top, it doesn't distribute. And then by the time you get like halfway through the pint, you don't have any more shortbread left. By the way, I got some comments on my last video of the way I say pint. So I'm not really sure. Is it pronounced pint? Is it pronounced pint? I honestly have no idea. Either way, I don't really care. I'm going to say pint throughout this video. And if you hate it, you can click off. No, I'm kidding. Love you. Stay here. Next up, we've got chocolate covered banana. So you'll notice that the banana is already pre-blended. Whenever you're adding fruits in Ninja Creamy, always make sure to pre-blend it before you put it in. It just helps it blend better and more nicely. And it's recommended by Ninja Creamy to do that. So I always like to make the names cute. Like, for example, instead of chocolate banana, we say chocolate covered banana, because that just makes it better. And then obviously here we're using the milk frother to mix it instead of just shaking the pint like I used to, because that prevents it from going everywhere. I love how this one had a very deep chocolate flavor. So go ahead and process the pint, put it on light ice cream, and then from there afterwards, you're gonna see the texture. So for this one, I actually decided to add a little bit of unsweetened almond milk, because you'll see the texture is a little bit more thick than the lemon pint. So I added a couple tablespoons, and then we go ahead and scrape the edges. Someone commented on one of my last videos, like, why wouldn't you scrape the edges with a knife instead of a spoon? I don't want to ruin the pint container and leave marks all over it, and I feel like the spoon minimizes that a bit more. Maybe not. Comment below if you're a chocolate person or a vanilla person. I personally prefer either flavor of ice cream, but if I had to pick one to eat for the rest of my life, I would probably choose like vanilla bases. I feel like they're just more customizable when it comes to mix-ins and stuff. Third recipe is classic vanilla bean. So this one is not as sweet as the first two. It's still pretty sweet, but I would say this is a good one if you prefer ice cream that's not super sweet, or if you're planning on adding mix-ins to it. Another thing you could do maybe is increase the monk fruit sweetener to 30 grams, but I honestly think it's fine like this, and I'm the type of person that always loves sweet stuff. Take a shot for every time I said sweet. No, I'm kidding. Also, this is the first pint that I mixed up, but then I decided to process it like third. Don't ask why, I don't know. I think I was most excited for the lemon cheesecake one. People have been asking me, because the first pint that I made that didn't have protein powder was chocolate. So people have been asking me for a vanilla one. So this is a good one. Here we go. After that first spin, the texture was already great, honestly, because of the Greek yogurt. But yeah, I decided to scrape down the edges, and then I didn't add any unsweetened almond milk. But if you wanted, again, more of like a soft serve texture, you could. Always make sure to be careful with the containers and the blades and all that. Don't be forceful. I know sometimes it could be a bit annoying if things don't fit at first and you're like, what is going on? But my very first Ninja Creami that I own, I had to throw it out because I was like forceful with some of the blades and I ended up breaking it. So yeah, that was shitty. You'll see here the texture is very soft, very delicious. We got that perfect white snow looking ice cream. I don't even know what I'm saying, but this is the perfect base for mix-ins. I just made like classic vanilla ice cream just to kind of show you guys, but some mix-ins you could probably add would be like a brownie or maybe like some caramel, maybe even like a caramel pretzel kind of vibe. The one bone I have to pick with Ninja Creamies is that I end up eating the pint so fast sometimes that I get a brain freeze and it really hurts. And I'm like, why is something so beautiful so painful? Our fourth recipe is peanut butter cup. Now this one is interesting, guys. You'll see that after we froze it, it looks more chocolatey. And then once we process it, the color gets lighter. So that's something to keep in mind with some of these pints. Like I know a lot of you don't care about what it looks like because you're not filming stuff and posting it online. But if you do care about that kind of stuff, if you want it to be more chocolatey, add more cocoa powder than you think. If you want it to be like a certain color, as you'll see later, like pink, maybe add a bit of food coloring, etc. Because after you process it, it does get a bit lighter. So for this particular one, again, I didn't do any mix-ins. I did a combination of cocoa powder and PB2, which is like powdered peanut butter. I see people in my comments being like, who has powdered peanut butter lying around? Like, that's crazy. Guys, they sell it in every single grocery store around me. It's very common, and I highly recommend using it, although you can use regular peanut butter in its place. So again, this one, the texture is amazing. I would say it's on par with the vanilla one, being not overly sweet. So, it still tastes really, really good. But I would say if you're the type of person that likes ice cream that's overly sweet, I would add some mix-ins to it, like maybe add some peanut butter cups or Reese's Pieces, something like that, or just add a bit more monk fruit. Another pro tip, which is what I did this particular week because I had so much recipe testing to do, is preparing your creamies at the start of the week. Like on Sunday, preparing like 5 creamies or however many creamies that you eat throughout the week. Maybe you're not a maniac, but it's good because sometimes it's like a Tuesday night and you're craving ice cream and you're like, damn, I have no creamies prepped and ready to go. And you don't want to be disappointed like that. Look at the texture here. It's so, so good. And it's funny because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is very like peanut butter cup, like Reese's, chocolate peanut butter. And then the color kind of faded a bit, but that's okay. It's still very, very good. This would taste absolutely delicious if you dug a hole in the middle and put like Reese's cups, maybe only put one, so we could stay on that calorie deficit grind. Another idea I had is putting Biscoff on top, as you can see here, and then just sort of like mixing it in or just eating at the top. I absolutely love Biscoff. It's like my favorite thing. So the last flavor we've got is strawberry cheesecake. And guys, this one was a bit of a journey because as I explained in the last flavor, once you process the pint, the color kind of dilutes. So what I thought was going to be like bright strawberry color did not really prevail, and I had to improvise, but that's okay. So again, we made sure to blend the strawberries before putting them in. And then this one's kind of similar to the lemon one in the sense that we're using the cottage cheese. I did decide to use butterscotch pudding mix in this one though, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why the strawberry flavor was a bit diluted, but no regrets because it tasted really, really good. If I was to make this again though, I would use vanilla pudding mix and not butterscotch pudding mix. The milk frother can be a bit finicky when you have the fruit in there, so if you need to, you could use like a spoon or a fork to mix it along with the milk frother. It was looking pink when I put it in there, and then after taking it out, I noticed it was looking a bit not so pink. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to process it and then we're going to see what happens. And once I processed it, I noticed like, okay, this doesn't really look very strawberry-like. Like obviously it's still going to taste like that, but how am I going to improvise here? So I obviously went ahead and scraped the edges. And then I decided to add a bit of unsweetened almond milk, but then I also added some red food coloring in there. I think I went a little overboard and went crazy with the red food coloring, but that's fine. I wanted it to be pink and like strawberry-like, obviously, because I'm posting it here, but realistically, I think if I used the vanilla pudding mix, it would have been fine. But I do really love the color that it turned out. It looks very like bright bubblegum pink. I also decided to sprinkle some graham cracker crumbs on top because, you know, strawberry cheesecake. I feel like this looks a bit like Dubai chocolate-esque. I don't know why. Maybe because like it's like the gold. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like literally it doesn't make sense. But yes, so I really love the color. Obviously at the bottom you can kind of see it's not blended as much, but that's totally fine. It still tasted great. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I'm sure you're looking for more Ninja Creami recipes. So I'll link a video here that you should watch next. I also have a lot of dessert recipes without protein powder, so be sure to check out those as well. And please give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, as it really helps the channel, and I post new videos every week. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.